This morning, in the private rooms of the Apostolic Palace, Pope Leo XIV received Monsignor Athanasius Schneider in a private audience. Leo chose to meet the man who, in recent years, has become the global face of doctrinal resistance, the symbol of fidelity to the liturgy, to the truth of the Eucharist, and to Catholic tradition. The meeting comes at a tense historical moment. Archbishop Schneider has endured months of imperturbable silence in the face of the many controversies that have divided the Catholic world. Debates on communion, disputes over liturgical postures, identity crises in Western dioceses. He didn't shout, he didn't seek the spotlight, he didn't make theatrical statements, he simply professed, wherever he was invited, what he had always professed. What is Catholic remains Catholic only in fidelity to the received tradition, not in reinventing the present. And today, Leo XIV has summoned it. Many observers, including cardinals, see the audience as a signal, an internal signal, an external signal, a political signal. Pope Leo XIV, who ascended to the Petrine throne in a climate of expectation and anxiety, knew perfectly well that Schneider represented a point of reference for millions of faithful throughout the world, particularly in an era in which the traditional liturgical sense was being marginalized, sometimes with episcopal aggression. No additional details have leaked from the press office, no official comment, just a single line from the agenda, which for many is worth more than 100 speeches. And today, towards tradition, from Rome came neither a condemnation nor a warning, but rather a gesture, listening. In fact, just in these days, an opposite signal is being recorded in another part of the Church. The Diocese of Charlotte, North Carolina, has banned the use of kneelers to receive communion, effective January 16, 2026. A drastic measure, eliminating structures, removing supports, silencing pastoral alternatives. Bishop Michael Martin's letter acknowledges that kneeling is a right of the faithful, but at the same time urges them to renounce it in the name of postural unity. He insists that the normative posture in the United States is standing, and asks catechists and priests to teach it as the preferred form. Against this backdrop, the audience between Schneider and Leone takes on dramatic weight. While kneelers are being removed in America, in the Vatican, the Pope receives the man who has become a global figurehead for his advocacy of kneeling before God. For many believers, it's a devastating symbolic contrast. On one side, a bishop who forbids a millennia-old gesture. On the other, a pope who opens the highest door of the Church to those who defend that gesture to the point of bloodshed. And if Rome speaks through signs, this sign is powerful. The entire Roman ecclesiastical climate of recent months seems to be converging on one crux, the extraordinary consistory scheduled for January 7th and 8th, 2026. This is a highly anticipated consistory, not for its appointments or celebrations, but because it will call the cardinals to discuss burning issues, curial reforms, the role of the synod, liturgical tensions, management of the sacramental crisis, and evangelization in a secularized West. For many, it will be a dress rehearsal for the pontificate of Leo XIV. Until now, prudent and silent, but now forced to show himself before the assembled cardinals. It is precisely here that the significance of the Schneider audience emerges. Many Vatican experts see this meeting as a message directed to the Sacred College. Leo does not arrive at the consistory surrounded by a single ecclesial world. It doesn't come as the guarantor of a single pastoral vision. It doesn't come as an automatic signature on the global synodal journey. Rather, it comes as a message to everyone. I listen, including you. I listen to those who have remained faithful to tradition without bending. Monsignor Schneider, as is well known, is the man who in recent years has defended communion on the tongue, the right to kneel, the centrality of the Eucharistic sacrifice, and moral doctrine without divergences and relativism. He is also one of the very few prelates to have publicly criticized the theological tendencies spreading in progressive dioceses. For some, Schneider is a courageous man. For others, an inconvenient one. Yet today, he sits directly before Leo XIV. At this precise moment in ecclesial history, the gesture is worth more than 1,000 press releases. Leo speaks to someone many thought would remain isolated, confined, ignored. This was not the case. Schneider entered and spoke. The Pope listened. The news takes on even greater significance when viewed through the eyes of those faithful attached to liturgical tradition. For them, Rome today has given a sign of life. Tradition is not a problem to be overcome, nor a relic of the past. It is still an object of listening and respect. And while it's true that the consistory will inevitably bring divisions among cardinals, it's equally true that today's meeting suggests a church that is choosing not unilateral silence, but rather dialogue. Furthermore, the hearing takes place at a very difficult cultural moment. More and more Episcopal conferences in Europe and America are pushing for a unified and simplified liturgy. Rules and indications follow one another to reduce the spaces of tradition, often without solid doctrinal explanations. The encounter between Leon and Schneider breaks this monotonous dynamic. It's a fracture in the progressive narrative. It's a return to the politics of signs. Of course, nothing is official. No statement has been released by either the Pope or Schneider. But in the history of the Church, what is left unsaid is often more eloquent than what is proclaimed. The question that arises today is simple but burning. What will happen after the consistory? If Schneider was listened to on the eve, the reformist currents will have to prepare for a real confrontation. And if Leo decides to reaffirm the centrality of ritual, sacramental reverence, and kneeling posture before the Eucharist, then Charlotte will become the symbol of a world that has lost its thread. As if Rome wanted to say without saying, in this phase, tradition will not be ignored. It will not be sacrificed to postural unity. It will be listened to. Do you think this meeting could be a turning point? Let us know in the comments. If you liked the video, comment Amen. God bless you.